Anyone who has seen the spectacular feats and skills of a Shaolin monk can only come to one conclusion: they possess supernatural powers and are not of this world. But that's not true. Unlike us, they are only able to properly apply the universal laws that govern our lives. You want to know why no one is able to defeat a Shaolin monk? We'll tell you. From their early training, to their brutal training, to their strict diet, here are some facts you definitely didn't know about Shaolin monks. Before we start, please remember to leave us a like and a subscription to support us, and at the same time, always stay up to date. Do you have any idea where the secret of the power of the Shaolin monks lies? Stick around until the end to find out. Will-less warriors? Whenever we hear the keyword Shaolin, images of well-trained warriors whirling around nunchaku come to mind. It is true that the martial arts of the Shaolin are unparalleled, but we are dealing here primarily with a Buddhist monastic order. Therefore, what makes the members of the Chinese religious community so invincible is not their impressive kung fu skills, but their mental strength. Accordingly, kung fu means something like hard work and alludes to the control of the mind and mastery of the body, which the perfection of this ancient martial art requires. In accordance with the Buddhist teachings, the focus here is on personal benefit and higher knowledge. The virtues. Although the morality of the martial art called Wu Dai in Chinese is traditionally associated with Shaolin Kung Fu, the relevant teachings are generally applicable to anyone who practices the martial art. Overall, this moral framework consists of three parts. First, there are three expected virtues, which are humility, self-control, and mercy. The five virtues of action, in turn, include restraint, respect, trust, loyalty, and justice. Regarding the five virtues of the mind, will, perseverance, patience, courage, and perseverance are named. Meditation and Qi. True to the motto, everything is created in one's own head, regular meditation plays a fundamental role in the life of the Shaolin. With the help of the exercises, the monks learn to fully perceive their mind and body far away from any judgment and fear. The exposure of thought patterns as fictions that no longer dictate one's own behavior is a fundamental aspect, because only those who are able to observe their emotions and fears are also able to become masters of their mind and thus also of their actions. The conscious perception and control of Qi also has a firm place in Shaolin belief and life. According to traditional teaching, which still shapes the worldview of many people in Asia today, this energy is inherent in everything on earth and in heaven. By practicing martial arts, the Qi flow should be strengthened and harmonized, and in the same breath, it is possible for the Shaolin to use this flow of life for their own fighting techniques. You have certainly seen a Shaolin monk at one time or another who smashes a stack of thick boards or bricks with the edge of his hand without injuring himself. According to Shaolin principles, this is only possible if the fighter is able to concentrate the Qi on a small area of his hand. Once a Shaolin has learned to develop the art of awareness of the flow of Qi, he can also anticipate his opponent's next actions. Training. It should be clear to all of us that Shaolin training is hard and dispensable. However, the question of what a typical training schedule for monks looks like is not that easy to answer. In fact, there is no such thing in the individual monasteries and temples. There, a basic general training is taught, which serves to strengthen mentally and physically. Regardless of whether a Shaolin is breaking bricks, practicing Qigong, or preparing tea, the universal teaching of life is inherent in every action. From the teacher's point of view, every exercise is also meditation. How long and which technique is internalized is not subject to a fixed supporting program. A whole day may be used to rehearse a single movement or a specific stance. The individual level of training of the student also plays an important role here. The teacher will challenge and support you and drive you to achievements that you would not have thought possible. In addition to physical exercises, Theoretical units also have a permanent place in the Shaolin monasteries. While the monks are instructed in the Buddhist teachings, this is also not subject to a strict timetable as we know it. Training that consists of a fixed rhythm of repetitions and breaks is alien to the Shaolin. The Iron Fist. Now let's take a look at some stunning Shaolin techniques that have earned Buddhist monks the reputation of being among the most accomplished martial artists of all time. First and foremost, there is the so-called Iron Fist. This is one of 72 original Shaolin techniques designed to deliver incomparably powerful punches without injuring yourself. As already mentioned, this is achieved by the fighter concentrating his chi in a specific part of his hand. However, many teachers remain silent about the exact background of this breathtaking technique. Not infrequently, the hidden knowledge is only passed on to hand-picked students. Basically, learning the Iron Fist can be divided into 3 stages. First, the Shaolin trains the tendons and ligaments from the shoulders to the fingertips with special strengthening exercises. He then performs blows on relatively hard objects that are placed in bags made of canvas or leather. After the training session, the hand is typically treated with a traditional herbal remedy called Ditta Jiao. Over time, the student will learn to hit harder and harder. In order to internalize the mechanics required for this, the monks practice relaxing the body completely and thus moving faster. Qigong training, which coordinates breathing and improves mental focus, is also a pillar of the Iron Fist. The Iron Head. If you want to become a master of martial arts, you not only need to know how to attack, but also how to defend yourself. And is there any better defense than steeling your body so that your opponent's punches are simply no longer able to harm you? You may have seen Shaolin monks do a perfect headstand, smash hard objects onto their skulls, or even hold a running drill to their temples without getting a scratch. Anyone who has perfected the Iron Head technique can not only enjoy an effective defense, but also a dangerous headbutt weapon. The art of the steel skull is based on 2 foundations. On the one hand, there is the strengthening of the bone structure. Let's just take a look at Wolff's Law. Formulated by the eponymous surgeon Julius Wolff, this states that the strength and density of bones increase when they are loaded. The second pillar of the Iron Head is based on strengthening the neck muscles and spine. Throw needles through glass. Anyone who really needs proof of the unrivaled skills of the Shaolin monks at this point should take a look at the following recordings. In fact, many fighters are able to throw a small needle straight through a pane of glass and the balloon placed behind it to burst. Diamond Finger. While most of us may not be able to perform a standard handstand, Shaolin monks accomplish the feat on a single finger. There is a special reason why most Shaolin monasteries have old trees decorated with many small indentations. Students begin to strengthen their fingers from an early age by poking them into trees and wooden boards. The Iron Shirt. If you have a body as hard as steel, you no longer need protective clothing. According to this, Shaolin monks do not wear their iron shirts, but literally under their skin. Just like in the case of the Iron Fist, this technique is also based on the targeted bundling of the chi in certain areas of the body. However, before one can withstand every powerful blow and even balance one's bare body on a series of sharp spears, it is a hard road. Sleeping on sharp objects and repeatedly hitting the body are just the tip of the Shaolin iceberg. Nutrition. Given the incredible feats that the Shaolin monks perform every day, one might think they would have to devour masses of flesh to fuel their bodies. However, the exact opposite is the case. The food in the Shaolin temple is traditionally humble, healthy, and strictly vegetarian. According to the Buddha's worldview, life should be limited to the bare essentials. No monk should have more than he truly needs. Typically, rice forms the foundation of the Shaolin diet, which is rounded off with vegetables, tofu, nuts, and fruits. Basically, eating in the monasteries is considered the most important means of maintaining a healthy body. Excessive gluttony and unbridled binge eating are considered one of the causes of human suffering. Dragon Flag. Bruce Lee was a prime example of someone who'd been raised in martial arts and followed the lifestyle strictly, but I'm sure all of us are aware that no matter what skills we may have, those skills can easily be lost if you don't continue to train them. These skills could involve typing, gaming, singing, or countless other skills that many of us possess. However, for Bruce Lee, his obvious skill was his physical ability. According to Bruce's wife, he would spend almost every minute of every day honing his skills and working out. He knew that if he wanted to be the world's greatest martial artist, he would have to spend countless hours practicing and exercising. However, Bruce wasn't one to train with the common folk. He found that ordinary exercises were not good enough to help him stay in shape. This meant that he needed to develop his own style of exercising, which would eventually become known as Dragon Flag. For Bruce, most of his workouts involved his torso and core muscles. These muscles were vital to his martial arts techniques, so he developed Dragon Flag specifically to appeal to these muscles. At the beginning of his workout session, Bruce would lay flat on a bench, then lift the rest of his body from the bench using nothing but his shoulders. This workout would hone nearly every muscle in the core of his body, helping him to achieve unsurpassed levels of physical fitness. These days, Bruce's Dragon Flag workouts have become a staple in the martial arts community, with Bruce's technique helping martial artists around the world to realize just how important your core body strength is. He caught grains of rice with chopsticks. If you're a fan of martial arts films, chances are you've already seen Karate Kid at some point. If you think back on the film, you'll likely recall a scene in which Daniel LaRusso tries to catch a fly with a pair of chopsticks. What seems simple at first proves to be very difficult, but Bruce Lee would take things a step further. Unfortunately, this feat was never perfectly captured on camera. However, Bruce Lee would reportedly toss pieces of rice into the air and catch them with chopsticks. He did this to hone his reflexes in one of the most impressive ways possible. It's been reported that he was a master of this and could catch the rice almost every time it was thrown into the air. His lightning-fast reflexes were far greater than any of his opponents at the time, and no one has been able to match or surpass his success after all these years. In fact, these days, many people wonder if Bruce Lee was able to master this feat at all, as it seems completely impossible. Yet, this is just another example of how Bruce Lee was superhuman. Bruce's superhuman strength. One of the accomplishments of Bruce Lee that many people overlook is his sheer strength. It may seem obvious that a martial artist needs to be strong, but most people don't realize just how strong Bruce Lee really was. For the most part, people associate strength with having very large muscles. When you think about someone who is very strong, you probably picture someone who's about 6 feet tall and has more muscles than they can realistically use. However, Bruce Lee had a fairly small body, yet he was stronger than most people could ever dream of being. An easy way to prove this is to look at his training bags. Most people practice punches and kicks on training bags. Bruce did this as well. However, he would tear through these bags very quickly. Eventually, it became a hassle for him to use normal punching bags because he would regularly punch through them or cause them to burst. This meant that Bruce needed to find heavier and denser bags that could withstand the force of his incredible strength. Keep in mind, a normal punching bag weighs about 50 kilograms. However, the bags that Bruce needed to use would often weigh more than 135 kilograms. To make these things even more remarkable, it has been reported that Bruce was able to kick these bags several feet in the air. If you were to try to kick one of these bags yourself, chances are they'd only move an inch or two when you made contact. Though for Bruce, he could send these bags flying. How did you like our little insight into the world of the Shaolin monks, and what fascinates you the most about them? We are already looking forward to your comments. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Finally, take a look at the other posts on our channel that we have linked for you here in the credits. And with that, thanks for watching, have a good one, and see you next time.